what does it mean to talk about mental health as an Asian American? Is it even possible to talk about mental health in our culture?
To be honest, it never existed for me. It never existed. It was never talked about.
You know, in class and probably from most of our own experiences, we've learned that within Asian culture, the topic of mental health is taboo, that having any sort of mental illness is seen as shameful and weak and even selfish.
My mother really didn't talk about anybody in our family having any mental health, or just pretty much we just had to just carry on. We didn't have, to show, we couldn't show any, breakdown stress or anything like that. It was just not welcomed in our family.
The lack of awareness and knowledge about the importance of mental health, as well as the lack of linguistic and culturally relevant educational materials, all contribute to the cultural taboo and negative stigma associated with mental health in the Asian American community. Intergenerational conflict is another big reason why Asian Americans have so much trouble talking about mental health. We've been raised to do right by our parents, to do right by our families. A lot of the time, that means pushing aside our own problems, our own feelings, in order to not burden anyone else with the weight of what we're carrying, in order to save face for the sake of the family. So what other options do we have other than to suffer in silence? Even though it's the silence that's the problem. So how do we begin to change? A few steps would be to conduct more research regarding Asian American experiences and mental health, and to develop access to more educational resources and create more culturally relevant material. But perhaps the most simple and obvious, yet toughest solution, would be to just talk about it. Because to talk about it is to break the taboo. To talk about it is to cultivate an environment of communication and understanding. And to talk about it is to break the cycle of silence and normalize mental health for what it is. So with that said, I want to share my story. At the beginning of the semester, I made a plan to kill myself. I won't go into too much detail, but I remember feeling like there was no reason for me to keep living. I felt lonely and isolated, and honestly just really empty. I remember feeling so much guilt about how I was feeling, and I remember it took weeks for me to decide between burdening my parents with the knowledge that I wanted to kill myself or actually following through with the plan I made. And then came the moment when I told them. I don't know exactly what my parents were thinking or feeling when I talked to them, but one thing that I feared the most was being invalidated, being disowned, and being seen differently because of my thoughts and feelings. Since the incident with me, since my conversations with each of you, because I told you guys separately, how has your opinion of me changed? Now knowing that I have severe depression, that I had suicidal ideations, that I have anxiety. Because before you guys were saying, both of you guys said, you both always saw me as the kind of person that even if I got overwhelmed, I still pushed forward, I still handled my stuff up until a certain point. But now that I've been honest in telling you guys, with what I've been experiencing, how has that changed, if it has at all, how you guys see me?
Not for me.
Yeah, it really hasn't changed. I just know, I still see you as that person, that perseveres and pushes through, and, that you strive for excellence and all this other stuff. I still see you as that. But I just want you to know, I don't expect that from you. That, I am happy as long as you're happy.
Something that I've learned from that point until now is that it's when we hit our lowest point that we are open to the greatest change. We have a saying in my therapy group, everything is unfolding exactly as it is meant to, even when it's painful. And it definitely hasn't been an easy process. There are ups and downs, really good days, and really bad days. But still, I was able to see a psychiatrist and get the medication I needed. I was able to start individual therapy and join a group behavioral therapy program. I am getting the help that I need. Because it's not selfish to seek help. It's not selfish to want better for yourself. And I'm hoping that by sharing my experience, I can help others recognize that no matter the sadness, the loneliness, or the helplessness, you can accept yourself for who you are and still want to change for the better. Every day, I'm still learning how to live my life honestly and truthfully. I'm still learning how to treat myself with the patience, kindness, and compassion that I know I deserve. And that's it. That's my story so far. It is what it is, and that's okay.